Hey, what's up, Flesh and Blood family? Today we're going to be going into my Katsu deck that I've been optimizing the past few days. I'm going to go over like some updates and what I've changed so that you can have a bit of an overview what I'm working on and maybe use it as some information to build your own list. For those of you that are looking for competitive guides, well, the competitive guide section on Patreon is kind of shaping up quite nicely. We now have Icelander, Dash, Dromai and All Team. We got a bunch more guides coming to the Patreon very soon. We have a Azalea deck coming, Lexi deck, we got Riptide coming. What else do we have on the way? Bravo and Viceroy are already done. I'm currently editing those files to be able to put them onto the website. It takes quite a while to edit these files, so I guess those will be up maybe Sunday or Monday. At least one of them should be up on the website then. Yesterday I finished my own guide, like my Kugane's guide to Katsu. Of course, I wrote this one completely myself. I went into everything that went into this deck and why I play certain things and why I don't play certain things, and a combo guide. I want to keep extending the combo guide. For now I only put the combos in here that I actually use in the deck, but I think for new players out there that are kind of lost and don't know how to navigate this deck, it can be quite useful and quite nice to have a bit of an overview where I talk about like, okay, I use this card to go into this and this and so on and so on. So if you're a patron, now is probably the best time to become a patron, because I will be having these competitive guides coming onto the website bit by bit until we have every hero covered in Flesh and Blood, except of course the living legend heroes. I'm not gonna cover those unless there's really a high demand for it. But anyways, let's just jump up to the top of the article and see if we can grab the deck list quickly. So here's the deck list for Katsu. I've made a value Katsu list. This is different than combo Katsu like we are usually used to. This is more of like an aggro Katsu build, and I've had some very good results with it so far. Like the 12 games that I played yesterday, for example, I didn't lose a single game. The deck is performing rather nicely. And then, oh yeah, before we jump into the video, I still need to pick the winner for the playmat from the preview video, so let's go ahead and raffle a winner now so we can get that playmat out to them. So Red On has commented, but holy wow, 0 for 5 go again is nasty. Well, Red, if you're watching this video, congratulations, you have won yourself that very nice Outsiders playmat that LSS has given to me. So reach out to me and we need to figure out how we can get it to you in terms of like shipping costs and stuff like that. Maybe I can pay for it myself, but if it's like really extraordinarily high, if I need to ship it overseas or something, we might need to meet halfway or something. But yeah, let's get back into the deck list then, shall we? So what have I done? When we had all the spoilers, the first thing I started testing with is using the Surging Strike combo line as is, because I wanted to get the full value out of both the Whelming Gustwave as well as Bonds of Ancestry and the Descendant Gustwave line, especially with these being my spoilers, so I was kind of hyped to really make them work in the current format. But here's the thing, right? So I started out with a 17 to 18 blue list and running 6 copies of Surging Strike, because I had so many copies of Surging Strike on top of like 6 copies of Whelming Gustwave, a Mugenshi release, 3 copies of Lord of Wind. I ended up in a situation where like almost half of the hands I drew were kind of dead hands, where either you draw into multiple copies of Surging Strike that you cannot do anything with, or you draw into way too many blues with no go again that you couldn't do anything with. That 2 days ago I was thinking like, what if, right, we put the Art of Wars back into the deck, because I had taken those out at that point of time. We greatly reduce our blues in the deck in general. We hyper focus on having a bunch of 0 costs that have go again tied into it, like head jabs, 100 wins, which normally aren't really that great because a 3 attack for 0 isn't all that good, but simply because they have go again by themselves, I kind of ended up building like this really over-the-top Katsu aggro deck that just kept on coming in over and over and over, and as soon as one of these attack hits, we have the Katsu trigger, which lets us fix our hand to grab whatever combo piece we're missing. If we have a Lactip in the hand, we could grab a Rising Nitras. If we already have a Be Like Water in hand, for example, we can try playing that to get the hit into, say, Surging Strength and going into the Descendant Gust Wave and Bonds of Ancestry combo line. There was so much potential with the deck by making the curve a lot lower that I'm kind of happy with where the deck is now, especially since we also run like a couple of copies of Recoil, so if we do end up against those aggro decks that can out aggro us in normal situations, like having these can really throw off the curve, because this one kind of forces them to either block this or lose a card in the hand, putting it back on top of the deck, which is something that most aggro decks don't really want. And I think the deck like this it's just really good. I've had a lot of success with it. Like I've said, I think I played 12 games yesterday. I didn't lose a single one. Of course, this is on Telesha, which may or may not be the highest skilled opponents, as well as people that are still working with experimental decks and stuff like that. But the deck it's rather solid, and I think there's really something in this to kind of build an aggro Katsu deck like this, instead of the full-on mid-rangey combo list, and it's really worth checking out. So as far as sideboard goes, my sideboard for this deck is rather simple. I have Command and Conquers and Cut Down to Sizes. The Cut Down to Sizes and Command and Conquers will probably be sided into the deck against those decks that don't want to block. So if you're up against an aggro dash, for example, Cut Down to Size can really screw them over. If you're up against decks that like to set up their combo like Fight, then Command and Conquer, Cut Down to Size are both really useful. And we got these defense reactions ready to go against Guardians and stuff like that. At the moment, I'm just doing like a +6, where I just either side this package or this package into the deck if necessary. I don't play that against every deck, of course. It kind of depends on the matchup. Like if I want to be able to disrupt them, I put these in. If I want to be able to defend myself a bit better, I put these in. But I need to fix the sideboarding a bit, because I think I can probably put the Recoil, for example, the red one, into the sideboard, and maybe some stuff like Whelming Gustwave red can go into the sideboard as well. Pretty much anything that has an on-hit that's not really going to be hitting against those full-on control decks probably is better off just going into the sideboard to kind of trim down the list to maybe 63 or 64 cards when we go into those matchups in general. But the deck is really good. I really like it. I really enjoy this aggro playstyle in general. I'm going to be building different builds of Katsu as well, so you will see this on the channel eventually. But as far as competitive gaming goes, I think this is kind of the better version out there. It does struggle though. Like if you're up against a Ranger, for example, that keeps disrupting you, it's kind of bad. If you're up against a Guardian that goes full on control, it's kind of bad as well. So I'm not really sure what to make of that or how to play around with that, but we just need to wait and see. And again, if you need more information, like why I have a single copy of Mindset of Tiger in here, for example, or why I'm running 2 copies of Scar for Scar instead of 3, like all this kind of information is available on my Patreon guide, so do check those out. You can already become a member for $10 a month, so it's not expensive, and you will have access to all these really amazing Flesh and Blood guides that will keep on expanding, on top of having access to pretty much all my deck lists and stuff like that. So that's pretty much all for me for today. Let me know if you're playing Katsu, and again, Red, congratulations with winning the playmat, and I will see you all next time once I've optimized this thing a little bit more. Take care.